year started off in sunny Puerto Vallarta, where we definitely got the pandemic special. We ended up living in a brand new condo just a block off the beach, with 2 infinity pools and a jacuzzi. Life was good. We joined a whale watching tour for the first time ever, which was an awesome way to kick off the year. Both of us did a 30-day home workout challenge. I even did dry January, which was a good idea, because with February came
boat party!
Boat birthday party?
Boat birthday party!
Boat birthday bash?
Yes.
March brought the wedding of 2 PV friends on the beach, complete with a taco bar and a truck full of cervezas. Viva Mexico! Of course, it wasn't just cerveza we were sipping. We also did a tequila tasting at Noble Corazon. And you know what goes great with tequila? Tacos. In April, we said goodbye to our friend Steve. We drank 2 kegs at Monzon and almost burned the town down with Chinese lanterns. It was a fitting tribute. Oh yeah, there was also that epic 80s party to bid farewell to Igor and Ann, owners of our favorite bar, who headed back to Europe. PV won't be the same without you guys. Before leaving Mexico ourselves, we traveled to the tiny, remote beach town of Mito with some friends. Back in town, we soaked up our last few days in PV. We tried some amazing new restaurants and bars, and hung with nomad friends. We also raged the holy trinity of Bar La Playa, El Soñador, and Barcito. I even got to jam with the band. Just like that, the sun set on our 8 months in PV. From one paradise to another, we traveled to Detroit Rock City. We got the band back together and hit 2 nights of face-melting rock with Umphrey's McGee. In socially distanced pods, of course. Parachuted in for the last night of the Disco Biscuits at Red Rocks. You want to talk about our government? From the Mile High City, It was a 10-hour drive up to Island Park, Idaho. Our first home base for a 2-week trip with family. We kicked off our Yellowstone adventure, finally checking the first national park ever off our bucket list. Since we stayed outside of the park, we also explored quite a bit of the area, like Mesa Falls. We took the scenic and apparently super dangerous back road to Montana and made a pit stop in Big Sky. The great American road trip continued just up the road to Livingston, where we stayed in this awesome cabin. Thanks, Mom. There were more outdoor adventures and some great local live music at the Pine Creek Lodge. As well as bonfires and cookouts. We took a day trip over to Bozeman to see the other MSU and ended up finding our favorite things: dumplings, fish, and craft beer. Maybe I should have gone to college here. A long drive brought us to our next base in Victor, Idaho. As you might expect by now, we sniffed out the local brewery and the crunchy tunes. We spent the next few days exploring the awe-inspiring Grand Teton National Park. We also spent a day in Jackson, which was way more fun since we had a local friend to show us around. It was an unforgettable trip out west. We figured we'd take the scenic way home and made a pit stop in fabulous Las Vegas, just because. While there, we were transported to another dimension at Area 15 and Meow Wolf. Back in the Midwest, we finally got to see Goose play 2 nights at Legend Valley. In July, we headed down south and spent much of the month in Asheville. As we typically do there, we hit up some of our favorite breweries and saw live music. We caught the Fritz, as well as our friends Funk You. We also drove to Charlotte for Dave Matthews Band, and down to Atlanta for the Biscuits at the ballpark. That was all a warm-up for the main event. Phish Tour. Ready, Rachel?
I was born ready.
Number 80. After almost 2 long years, we finally saw our favorite band again. We caught the shows in Alpharetta, Nashville, and Deer Creek, where I got the best birthday present ever. We also went out west a few weeks later. Thanks to some amazing friends, we spent a few days at beautiful Lake Oswego outside of Portland. Then we packed up the car and headed to our favorite venue ever, the Gorge. It was an amazing 3 nights spent camping out and going to the shows with friends. Before leaving the Pacific Northwest, we stopped in Portland to smell the roses and also visited the Japanese Botanical Garden. Last, but certainly not least, we went back to Denver for the 10th anniversary of Phish Dicks. And who can forget about summer camp? The best fest in the Midwest finally got to have its 20th anniversary bash, and what a party it was. September saw us back in North Carolina, where we took a family trip to beautiful Hanging Rock. Back in Nashville, we got more live music courtesy of JRAD. In October, we were back at it on Phish tour. We did the entire tour starting in San Francisco, only missing the opener. It was 12 shows in 16 nights, spread across 4 states, and it was the best time ever. Santa Barbara, Rachel finally saw her 100th show. The tour ended with a 4-night run in Las Vegas, complete with 3 Disco Biscuits late nights. Clear your mind and unhead the knee. Holy Blankenstein, that was fun. In November, we picked up the pieces of our melted brains and headed back to Asheville to recover. We soaked up the last bit of pleasant fall weather and spent lots of time outside, including a trip to nearby Lake Powhatan for some leaf peeping. We also cruised the Blue Ridge Parkway and found a few new breweries to add to our list. Our 3rd trip of the year to Denver was highlighted by a visit to Meow Wolf's Convergence Station. And we saw 2 more nights of Goose at the Mission Ballroom. We ended the year right where it started, in Puerto Vallarta, for some aguachile, mezcal, and lucha libre. We also finally made it back up the coast to Sayulita. For 4 nights, we got to live in this amazing treehouse. It wasn't a vacation and we still had to work, but we got to enjoy sunsets on the beach every night. We also soaked up the lively atmosphere in town with a funny running of the bulls going on. With our last few days in town, we enjoyed the festive vibe down on the Malecon with all the Christmas decorations. We traveled back to Johnson City just in time to spend the holidays with family. The final hurrah of 2021 came with 2 nights of pigeons playing ping pong in Asheville. The theme was Arena 54, Area 51 meets Studio 54, or a space disco. We're ready for a space disco.
Ready for a space disco, baby.
Don't be sad, Baby Yoda.